Hello, welcome to Grana's Garden Stories. I'm Grana and I'm from mid-Missouri. Let's have a little coffee talk. Good morning. It's coffee time, and I'm gonna add maybe coffee time story because the things that's going on in this world makes me want to tell the story of when I was a little girl and they first was starting to solve the problem of women and children being by themselves. And I just gathered information from what's around me, what I've seen and what I've experienced, because I can't look up everything and say, oh, this was technically this and this was technically that. But I know the story that I lived in my life, and I know the stories that I've heard around my life as I've grown up and as I've been an adult and as I've been in college. Most people don't seem to realize that I have had a good, long life of information. I don't go out and boast about everything that I know, but it's because I can't articulate well. I've never been able to articulate everything that I take in all the time because I take in everything, it seems like. But when I was a little girl, they started giving food stamps, and that's the issue today because, my mother got a little bit of money, but back when they first started it was in the 70s, I guess, or in the late 60s or something, in the early 70s, but I remember most the late 70s or the early 70s because I was just a young toddler when the 60s started, so I don't know exactly. But of course the story doesn't start there because it starts with the generations that go past. And when I was in a college course that was on counseling, they had us do a 3-generation pattern or 3-generational family tree. To do the family tree or the family systems counseling or whatever it was. And so I done my grandmother and I done my mother and I done me, and the counselor had told me that there's no way that I could even be a counselor because I had too much that had happened in my life. But anyway, I got a good grade on it, but the pattern that shows is that the females separated from the males, and the children were in the home and they didn't have a father. Now, sometimes grandma was married because she kept trying to get married to have fathers for her children and to survive, because in the 30s and 40s it was not appropriate or acceptable to be separated from your husband. But the hard times, they came on the men too. They drank and they were assholes when they drank. Sometimes they hit the women, and sometimes the women would have to get mad at them. So it just goes around and around. It's not the women's fault. It's not the men's fault. It is the times that we live in. And when you don't have what you need to survive, to be happy, you're going to act out because you're human. And until you get a handle on that, that's just the way it is. And so anyway, went back to the story when we had food stamps when I was a little girl. When they first started food stamps, it wasn't anything that they didn't think you needed that much. I guess because nowadays they complain that, I mean, a lot of people, they get like, I don't know, thousands of dollars, I guess. But back when I was little, they didn't have that much food stamps. And I won't lie, because when they first started them, they had coins. They had, just like money, they had fake money. And it was a penny and a nickel and a dime and a quarter. And then they had the dollars. That was $1, $5, $10, $20. And my mother used to send me to the store to get something. And it was something it's supposed to be less. Or I guess that wasn't right. It was just when they did away with those coins after a while, and then they gave regular change, because I don't know why, but they did. And when you could get cash back for your money, my mother thought, oh, I can have extra money to get cigarettes. And so that's what she did. She had me go to the store. As the oldest, I went to the store, and she gave me a note that let my daughter buy me a pack of cigarettes or 2 packs of cigarettes. And I would get something else with food stamps first, I guess. I don't really remember, but I was allowed to get her cigarettes, and sometimes I got the change that she needed to get her cigarettes. But she didn't have very much money to work with, so she was just trying to survive, you know. But the food, we didn't have very much food. And when we would have a special roast, potatoes and carrots and onions, it would just be about once a month or something. And we had to just have a little portion of the meat and a little bit of potatoes, and I love that stuff. The roast, it was really good. Pork roast was really good. And I didn't think that I was getting enough, but I cherished every morsel that I got, because the rest of the time we had to eat a piece of bread with mustard on it, or a piece of bread with ketchup on it, or maybe sometimes a little bit of sugar. And then sometimes for supper we got a bowl of popcorn. We had to eat our cereal without milk a lot of times because we didn't have milk. And then when they a lot of times Mom would just get pissed off at us and we had to go to bed without supper. But it wasn't because necessarily we had been bad, but I guess she was just trying to deal with the fact that she didn't have anything to cook for us. But sometimes, you know, she was hurting inside, and she would have, we had to go to bed, and then she would cook her up a package of meat to have be like gizzards or livers or something. And I am not blaming my mother, because she didn't want to be like this, but she was, because she had got married. I mean, she had a rough life, and I can't even tell you the story that I could tell you over time. But my mother had a lot of love in her, and it was ruined by life circumstances. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not saying that anybody should owe us anything or anything, but it's just the way it was. And if my mother was taken away from me, I would just hate it. Even though I've lived a hard life because of the circumstances of my life and her. And people would think that taking the kids away would be better for them, but it's not. They have to process everything they went through, including if you take them away, they got to process that, and that takes a lot because a human being is connected to their mother and their father. If they don't have a father, they always search for the father, but that's another story. But with the SNAP benefits being taken away from the kids, there's going to be problems, and I'm very scared for that. I mean, I'm not scared for myself, but there's a lot of people that are going to be left without any solution to anything, and they're going to have to fend for themselves. And I guess, back in the day when I was young, Trump was just starting out to be a young man, and I guess, he remembers those times, I guess. And I don't know if he wants those times to come back to him or what, but it's just we all have to suffer. We all have to suffer. And we think that I remember my mother always being mad at the rich people and the people that looked better, had more and stuff, and I just don't, because I did my best to live my life so I wouldn't be on welfare. And I have found that it doesn't matter if you're rich or poor. What matters if you're accepting of what you have and where you are, and you just look at yourself equal as everybody else. I might have my little quirks. I might be shy. I might not be able to talk to them in the appropriate ways, but I am just as good as a doctor, as a lawyer, as a president, as any person in this world. And that's what they have to be able to treat people the same, no matter what level treat them with respect. And that's all I asked. Like when I went to the doctor, they were treating me like I didn't know what I was talking about. And it doesn't matter if I had education or not, because it seemed like I didn't have any education to them, because I wasn't going according to the way that the doctors thought I should. Now, this I'm talking about when I had a stroke, and I decided that I want to not take any medicine lifelong. And that's my right to, it's a basic right that you can choose what you want to put in your body. And anybody that's trying to force you to put anything in your body is wrong. But anyway, I don't hardly know my mother's experience when she was a child, but it was rough for her. And it was rough for my grandmother. And I would like to articulate it, and I'd like to write a book. But my mother wanted to write a book her whole life. And then when she died, we found a big notebook of blank papers, and on the top it said, "My life story," and it was blank. It wasn't blank. She had a full life. But when she had me, she was 17. And when I had my first child, I was 17. And I think Grandma was 17 when she had her first child. And they say that they want our children to be alive and to be well. And just a minute, I gotta take a drink on that. 'Cause, 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 But I can understand a lot of mothers that are doing drugs, or they're got other ambitions or whatever, that they feel like they have to do away with their child because they would be sacrificing either way. They'd be sacrificing their life if they was here or if they wasn't here. And that's why it's so hard to choose to have an abortion. Because when you get rid of a child that way, you'll never forget it, and you'll always remember it, and you'll always be suffering inside until you come to grips with it, with God, I guess. And then if you have them and you live with them, you have to think about all the things that every mother thinks about and every father thinks about. And you go through hell thinking about them, because life is hard, especially when you're poor. I mean, I think it'd be the same if you was rich, but I'm talking about the poor right now. Anyway, my mother was married. She got pregnant with me, but she married a man, and he was my father on my birth certificate. But their marriage didn't last very long. There's somebody out there cleaning my it's a worker. But anyway, my mother's marriage didn't last but about 3 years or so, and they had a divorce down in Puerto Rico. We was on the base. He was in the military, and some things happened that was really bad. And the divorce papers, I have them, and they say that the divorce was granted because of abuse or domestic violence, and it was very violent. So my mother, she had suffered a lot of violence in her life, and so she was just a child when she became a mother to me. And she tried to be an adult, but she still had a lot of things she hadn't grown up about, and so it was really hard for her. And when I was younger, I couldn't understand that, but I can understand it now. And I've always loved my mother, no matter what happened. But, I think it played hell on her that she could, because when she would do something wrong, she would just beat herself up about it. And if it involved us kids, me, my sister, my brother, it was even more so. And so it's this endless cycle. And she couldn't work that way because she couldn't trust anybody to take care of us, because she was so scared, because she had been molested when she was young. She was 9. She told me about it. And so she was very scared of anything that when she, and there wasn't any help for her. When she got in her 50s, she got some counseling or something, but I don't think the counseling helped her, but the way they give it now. But I think that the welfare system, it's set up to make other people money and to keep people sick. That's all it is. But anyway, we were on welfare because she couldn't work. And at that time, she didn't choose to say, well, I'm disabled, I can't work. And so then there's a long list of, well, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that. At the time, you could be on welfare. But then later on, we didn't have it easy. I could tell you everything that happened, but right now I'm just trying to get the story out. But my mother fed us the best she could, and then she had her own things to deal with, and they probably ate her up inside, you know. I saw her when dealing with all this stuff that was so hard on her. And sometimes we didn't have nothing, you know, for days. And we would just be, we couldn't go anywhere, we couldn't do anything. And people just think that they're suffering today. Oh my goodness, they don't know what suffering is, I think. But you know, I don't know about it. I mean, I came out of it. I'm where I'm at today. But anyway, I had things to deal with myself. And then my kids have things to deal with, because, I mean, I was in college when they were growing up because of President Clinton's deal, but I'd already been a nurse since an LPN since 1987. And then I thought, well, I can't take care of my kids on this and be self-sufficient. So then when he came up with he's going to make everybody self-sufficient, I went down to the welfare office and I said, I want to sign up for this program. And I signed up for it, and I got a lot of college help and stuff, and I wouldn't say it's the best thing that ever happened to me, because there's a lot of bad things that happened in my family that happened because of that. But all in all, it was good, but it was lacking because I didn't have the basics of human relationships and knowing people and loving people. And I don't know the way it's supposed to be, but I know that, and I'm not even complaining. I'm happy where I'm at today, but it's just been hard. It's been a hard road. And my mom had good times and bad times. And usually we'd have the first of the month, we'd have good meals, and then about the last 2 weeks or even 3 weeks, it would be poor meals or nothing. And we moved a lot, every year or twice a year or something. I don't know what she's doing, but she was just trying to survive when she moved us that much. We had to live with family or depend on family. She never drove till she was 25. She didn't get her license till she was 25. I remember her and Aunt Dixie took classes to get their license. And so we were dependent that way, and we were always looked upon as something that somebody had to put up with. But we went to Sunday school a lot. The kids, we were picked up by a bus and taken to Sunday school. And that saved us a lot, because we got to go to the pastor's house sometimes and have a nice meal. And sometimes we would have a meal at the church, you know, but that's not, I used to look at the church people, as what I called them, church people, because my mom used to do that thing about look at the church, or this is the church, look at the people, or something like that. I don't even know what, but I'd call them church people. I thought they was like gods, you know, they were just so good. But then reality sets in later in life and you see that they're just the same as you. And that's how I have a brain. I have a brain to think. I'm not just some mindless person that just says, well, my mom did this, and so I'm going to do this. And people think that when you're born into welfare, they think you've got a mindset to stay on welfare. But it's just like some other things, you know. they don't know that a lot of us have brains, and we don't want to be on welfare, but the system tries to trap you in the system. And we're all in the system in a different way. We're in a system to keep each other in the system. Do you understand? And it's just killing me. When I watch the different programs that are coming out now, because the SNAP benefits are stopping in November, just around the corner here. And there's people on there saying that it's not their fault that the parents had kids, and it's not I don't know what they're saying, but they're saying all kinds of stuff, and I just go, it's just, they're lacking information, and they're not very nice to the kids. That when I was young, I didn't have any choice. I had to do what my mother had me do, and I wouldn't even be any better off, because there's people that are when they take the kids away from the parents, they give them to somebody else. They're getting welfare too. They're getting food stamps. Are they bad people because they're getting food stamps for those kids? The food stamps and stuff it just seems like it follows them around, And then when I used to go to school back in the day, everybody knew that I was getting free lunches, and today they want people to have free lunches. The school, when I was able to pay for my kids' lunches without having assistance, I was so glad. But the school said, well, you should fill out the paperwork. You could get free lunches for those kids. And the reason is because they get more money for the free lunches than they do regular lunches. And so then I found out that's why all the prices are up like they are, because it's a corporate welfare system. So all the people on welfare have helped you, the people that are snotty and snooty, the nurses and doctors and all the people that think they're better than us, have been getting the money from, because the welfare system pays you, a lot of you, and makes the prices go up. So if there wasn't any welfare, I guess the prices would be lower. That's the thing that I've been thinking about. I have just, ever since I heard that yesterday, Jack Spirko did a thing on the corporate, all welfare is corporate welfare. And I thought, my God. They explained a little bit. I haven't watched it all, but I watched some of it, and I said, oh my God, that's true. So I don't know if the system's breaking down, and I know there's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of kids. But if they try to do what they've done, when people have a hard time, they try to take the kids away, and they try to separate all that. If that remains part of the system, but they take away the foundation or whatever, the money and everything, it's just going to be hellacious and terrible. It is. I prayed for things. I prayed that, all my life, especially since I started college and I started studying psychology and nursing and stuff like that, my mind always tries to put all this stuff together. I've always thought about this stuff, and I would like to write a book, like I said. but I don't know if I'm going to be able to since I had the stroke. But I don't want AI to help me write it because, you know, I got suspicions because when I was a young girl, let's see, I was pregnant with James, my third child, and I had gotten drunk with his father, and I don't know, I was driving around and I somehow stopped the car to go to sleep, and then I was at a stop sign, and I got a DUI, but I got it diverted to get it off of my driver's license, and the only way I could get it diverted is to go to treatment. So I went to 30 days in-house treatment, and my mother watched it, John and James, or Justin. And while I was in 30 days treatment, they done my IQ and some psychological testing, and the big MMPI or whatever, and it said that my IQ was 135, and I had low self-esteem, and I was suspicious because I answered every question honestly, and so that's what came out of it. So I have superior intelligence with a low self-esteem and suspiciousness. Now, isn't that a true picture of who I am? But there's nothing wrong with being suspicious, because I'm not that suspicious, and I do think about things because I've had to think about things because my life has been I have to take care of myself and try to keep myself safe, you know, so there's nothing wrong with suspiciousness. And I'm just going to say that right now, but there is something wrong with, low self-esteem, the way that they look at it. You have to build yourself up to have self-esteem. You got to have mastery of what you're doing and what your gifts are and stuff. So that would be important. And I have worked on that, and I do have a better self-esteem because I didn't used to think that I'm the same as everybody. So God has helped me to think that I'm the same as anybody else. I may not be able to deal with things the right way, and people may think this and that, but I am the same as anybody else. And we all are. We all are in the same boat. And it doesn't matter if you get paid to act a certain way or you don't get paid. You're the same. It doesn't matter. And you gotta, if someone can see through you, people don't like that. If they can see your fakeness and your falseness, they don't like that. And so sometimes you are the point of, well, they just don't, they're gonna try to mess you up in life, you know. But anyway, this story is kind of downer, so I'm going to go on and stop this story for today, and I'll digest it and I'll think about some more later. But you can go on to the other stuff I have in this video and see that I'm not depressed. I'm not down on life, and I'm happy to be where I'm at in life. But I do get sad. I do hate the things that's going on because I worry about the people and the children. I really do. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's the system has to be broken, and it's going to hurt us. Homemade and homegrown. Okay, I got a new chickie, and it's beautiful. I mean, I keep saying that about all of them, but this one looks beautiful. And you see his or her. Let's see, I get a. I could do your wings like this or something. I don't know. This. And let's see. See? Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, the sun is coming through. Look in the mirror. It's a camera. She looks like an eagle to me. But she's a chicken, and I don't know why she's got a white head. I mean, why do you got a white head? I don't know. I don't know. Yes, you look so cool. And look at her feet. They're a mixture of green and yellow, I guess. Yes. As soon as I show her off a little bit more. Fine in. Okay, I'll let you go. Your tail's all wet. These are the 2 chickens that I cleaned, and I'm getting ready to put some oil on it and some salt and pepper and roast them. And I just wanted to show you how nice they look. They were the ones that had yellow feet, and they just look really yellow skin too. I didn't know. They're the ones that kept going in the neighbor's yard and messing around over there, so I didn't really want them to be in my flock because I need to have them here, but it looked like they were some good chickens. And they were roosters too, but there they are to eat now. See, I don't know, I'm not very good at pointing. There's my sourdough English muffins. This time it's red flour and rye, just a little bit of rye, but mostly bread flour. And they are pretty puffy and it looks good. Sourdough muffins. I picked my dinosaur kale off of these here, and then I started on some over here, and there was so many nice ones in my bag that I decided that I would come out and show you that that they're really nice, and I'll show you the ones that I got. But these I'm going to let grow up a little bit more, but this one I picked off of. But we'll go and see what they look like in the bag. Okay, I want to show you what my dinosaur kale that I got from outside. I don't know if I can show you, but this is what it looks like. And I'm gonna be cutting it up and putting it in my soup that I'm making with the chicken that I had. And there's lots of nice ones in here. And they all look good, see? Looks really good. They call it dinosaur kale, I guess, for nickname. I think that the real name is, but see, it looks like a dinosaur, the texture of it. So there you have it. That's what I got for my dinosaur kale. I don't know how good it looks when you look closely at it. That looks like dinosaur kale. And that's because it is dinosaur kale. Looks beautiful, doesn't it? Yep, it looks beautiful. Here is my soup that I'm making. I took the chicken off the bones and I'm just cooking the bones in the chicken broth. But look how yellow that is. That broth looks really good. There's nothing in that but just chicken. It's really good. I'm gonna add some onion, celery, and carrots, and dinosaur kale that I told you about after I let this cook more, but I got a lot of cutting up to do, so thank you. I want you to see my little birdies, and they're getting up here on the stoop now, and they have two mamas, I guess, and they're underneath their feathers up there on the roost. You can see them. I think it's cute. And you can see all my other chickens in here. See, they're getting ready to go night-night. See? Go night-night. They started getting up here a couple nights ago. Oh, there's the rooster. Hi, Cooper. How you doing? I'm just in here messing around, taking pictures, trying to get everybody upset. Home projects. I had a friend, Betty, and her two sons, their older sons, and they came over to cut this tree limb down because there's a crack in the tree, clear down to the bottom almost, and it was like that on the other side. And you've seen this tree before, but not like it was cracked. I didn't show you that it was cracked. So anyway, they cut that down, and it fell down over here, and they picked all the wood up, and they got a nice pile of it over there. And then we got another, it's built up to be another brush pile to burn, and it's gonna rain a lot this week, and so I'm so happy. And I'm gonna show you that they stacked this wood up really nice on top of that old wood, and that's good because it'll be aired out that way, and it can season itself, I guess. That's what they say. I don't know much about wood, but I'm trying to learn. At least I can't cut it very good now, but that's what they done to all this. They piled up all the wood that I needed there. So, and I'll go in the back and show you the other wood that I had over here. They got in here for me, and that was really nice because it would have taken me, I mean, I'd still be working on it tomorrow probably, or the next day, or probably next week because it's raining, but I started it, and it was just a little tiny bit, but they were willing to pick it up and put it in there, and I'm so happy that they done it because that's a big load, and they reasonably I could pay them, so a lot better than I could pay professionals. So I thank them for that. They finished up the job on that. Critters. We got I'm not even going to say mouse. I think they got a rat. It's pretty big to be a mouse. It's the biggest mouse that I've ever seen around here. Look at you. Look at you. I'm proud of you, kitty cat. That's why I like kitty cats. They get some mouses. This cat says, I'm taking it. She says, no, you're not. You gonna get your mouse back, kitty? He's gonna carry it off somewhere to eat it. Well, he's just a thief. Look at that. My goodness.